Bitcoin, you've quickly realized that this is a big thing. I mean, you could go anywhere, online, offline. You could take a look at all the different merchants that are now jumping on board, from Amazon to just about anything that you can think of that you can purchase. You could actually purchase it now with Bitcoin. And just a year or 2 years ago, it was still in its infancy stages, even though it's been around since 2009. A lot of people didn't really get, the Bitcoin mania until about the last 4 years. And so over the last 4 years, the coin itself has fluctuated and averaged right around $400 in value. So it's gone up and it's gone down, and there's a lot of fluctuation with Bitcoin, but it's been hovering around the $400 mark for the last 4 years. And there's a very important reason why, and there's a very important reason why right now it's the perfect time to get involved in Bitcoin, because as we progressed during the presentation, we're going to be talking about why all of the experts, all the people with the most money, all of the people that are considered the smartest minds of our time are heavily invested in Bitcoin. And so when I first was introduced to BitClub Network, which was 18 months ago, I didn't know enough about it. And the landscape was unsure at the time, and I said, well, I'm just going to kind of track this and take a look at it, but I'm not going to get started. So 18 months ago, this was actually presented to me by a man by the name of Joe Abel, and I passed on the opportunity. And what I've seen him accomplish in the last 18 months, and what I've seen BitClub Network achieve, which is documented, and I'm going to be showing some of that in just a bit, on how they actually rate in the global scale of Bitcoin production. Now, this is important, folks, because there's a lot of companies out there saying we're doing this, we're doing that, but the only one that could actually show proof of what they're doing and what they represent on a global scale in terms of Bitcoin production is BitClub Network, period. There's nobody else. And so those things are very, very important to us. And when we made the decision of really starting BitClub Network, that was the reason why, because it was verifiable and it was documented, and we're going to show you that today. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. For those of you that are not too familiar with Bitcoin or Bitcoin mining, let's start there. Bitcoin is a worldwide digital currency that is decentralized and not controlled by any government or institution. Bitcoin is sent using the internet directly from person to person with no bank or intermediary. Bitcoin is a fast, safe, and anonymous way to send money. Anyone can set up a Bitcoin account, no qualifications. Now, for merchants, this is very, very important because there's no fees, no chargebacks, and no borders. Now, Bitcoin, folks, is just a new currency. That's all it is, but it lives in the digital world. So it's not controlled by anybody. It's not owned by anybody. The production of Bitcoin is what's called Bitcoin mining. So there's only two ways that you can get Bitcoin. You can either buy it from somebody that already has Bitcoin, or you can mine it yourself. Now, in order to mine it, you used to be able to do that from a desktop computer in your house. Those days are long gone. You need powerful supercomputers to be able to do it now, because what makes each individual Bitcoin unique is the mathematical equations that have to be solved to give it that unique characteristic of each one of these Bitcoins. So very important that we understand that today, to get into the Bitcoin mining world, you're talking about $500,000 to $1 million. About 4 weeks ago, about a week after I got started with BitClub Network, I went to this group, this Asian group that was raising funds to actually do a mining pool. And you could not participate in that if you didn't have at least $500,000. So it makes it very, very difficult for the average person to participate in something where all of the, like I said before, the smartest minds and the people with the most money are currently participating. But nobody told us, right? Nobody told us that this was going to happen. So who uses this? Everybody. Everybody, and more people are coming. Dell, Gift. You can buy gift cards to just about anything you want with Bitcoin and earn cash back and do all your purchases in Bitcoin. You can walk into Subway today and buy a sandwich and eat fresh and use your Bitcoin. Dish Network, Shopify. I mean, anything and everything. You could travel using Bitcoin. Hotels take Bitcoin. Just anything that you can think of. Now, this is one of the things that a lot of people don't know about, right? They might see the little symbol, they don't know what it means, the little logo for Bitcoin, but it's being wildly accepted everywhere, not just here in the U.S., but all over the world. So let's take a look at the internet for a second and just think back to when the internet first came out, and it was completely decentralized, right? And I don't think anybody here can doubt that people have figured out a way to monetize the internet. Now, we don't know exactly how it works, but it works, and it gives information. It gives people, the people that actually make money online is because they figured out a way how to monetize your buying behaviors, what you're looking at, what you're searching for, and all of those behaviors generate leads and eyeballs to these companies that are going to sell you different things, and so it's become very, very popular. And the internet, really, the comparison here is that Bitcoin is doing for the financial world what the internet has done for information. So think about that for a second, how we used to communicate, how we used to exchange information back and forth. The internet made it faster, easier, more efficient, and it was just open to everybody, and it really just brought the whole world together. Well, Bitcoin, folks, is doing that, and it's affecting so many different industries, and that's why even banks like Bank of America is just investing right now in Bitcoin and being able to use it to replace wires and different things like that. And we're going to talk about that in just a second, because that's a big, big industry that really Bitcoin can just really take the lion's share of that market over the next few years. So let's talk about the global remittance fees, which is $54 billion. This is sending and receiving money. And this is where my story kind of becomes relevant to BitClub Network. Now, I had seen BitClub Network when it first started. Didn't understand it too much. It was just, it wasn't for me at the time. And so when I revisited BitClub Network was because I sell a software around the world. So I have customers from Europe. I have customers from in Spain. I have customers in Brazil, Vietnam. I have customers out of Central and South America. And in certain countries, it's a little bit harder or very expensive to wire money or send money. And if you have international merchant accounts, you have to have reserves, you have to have all sorts of things, expose yourself to chargebacks and things of that nature. So made it very complicated. So we were accepting wires internationally. And I remember that we had a couple of customers out of Argentina, where in Argentina it's kind of hard to move money around. So what they would do is they had bank accounts outside of Argentina in Uruguay, a neighboring country, and they had to ferry over to Uruguay, send us a wire. Now remember, they're paying $50 to send me a wire. And then it hits my bank account, which I already have my monthly bank fees or whatever. But on top of that, I had to pay $15 to receive the wire. That's $65 total that is being paid out to send money. Now, you would think that it would be fair if they're actually sending the money, but the money never left Uruguay, right? There's no physical money that actually traveled, on a plane to get to my bank. The money didn't move anywhere. But yet these companies are charging, and it's a whole industry, $54 billion. Now, what's relevant about BitClub Network is that I met with a gentleman that was purchasing my software from BitClub Network. And we got on the conversation of sending and receiving wires, and he says, well, why don't you just get your company approved for Bitcoin? And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, yeah, you can take payments instantaneously. And they can just buy it online and send it to you. And I'm like, what? He goes, yeah. And he recommended a few wallets and told me which ones were the best ones and blah, blah, blah. Make a long story short, our company is now approved for $100,000 a day in Bitcoin. Now, my biggest concern at the time was, well, I know there's a lot of fluctuation with Bitcoin. It can go up, it could go down. Over the last, I'd say, 4 weeks, Bitcoin's been hovering between 379, 378, and about 430. I think today it's right around $400, somewhere around there. So it's been hovering in that range. So my biggest concern was, well, if somebody pays me in Bitcoin, is it going to fluctuate and will I lose potentially money? And the answer was no. Once you make the transaction, it hits, it gets locked in, and then you can turn it into whatever fiat currency you wish to, put it right into your bank account. So when we accept Bitcoin, it goes right into our bank account. In 24 hours, we have our money. So that is phenomenal. The fees are like non-existent. So for us to receive that money, so it's really, really a great way. So what I didn't understand about Bitcoin is really the mining side of it, right? But I understood value. And when I understood the value, I started researching even more how it all worked. Didn't get involved in BitClub Network at the time. I still wanted to keep tracking it. I still wanted to keep looking at it. And so what we've done now is over the last I'd say the last 6 months or last 8 months, we've been, kind of looking at this a little bit closer, and we've seen that all of these different wallets, that all these companies are investing heavy, heavy money, millions and millions of dollars to set up these wallets that is basically the future of online banking, but through Bitcoin, which is Bitcoin peer-to-peer, completely decentralized, instantaneous, and you can have your money. You can use any one of these wallets to be able to transfer money. In fact, right now we have a gal that has wants to become part of BitClub Network at our top level and has money sitting in a bank account in the Philippines that's going to tie into a Philippine Bitcoin wallet and then just transfer it instantaneously for her to get enrolled. So very, very powerful model, folks, and it's happening every single day all around the world. So every 10 minutes, okay, this is now we're kind of jumping over to what the mining operation is about. And Bitcoins are released to people that mine Bitcoins every 10 minutes, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Now, this is going to happen until the year 2140, when all 21 million Bitcoins will create scarcity and prevent inflation. So there's only going to be a finite number of Bitcoins ever mined. So think about this. Every 10 minutes, these coins are being mined and released by what's called the blockchain. The blockchain releases these coins to miners as a reward. Now, these 21 million doesn't sound like a whole lot for the whole world, but when you actually put some math to it, think about this. It's 21 million, but each Bitcoin is divisible by 100 million. That's huge. Think about a dollar. A dollar is divisible, right? You could break it down into smaller parts. You could break it down into pennies. But if, I cut a penny in half, I can't use it anymore. I can't exchange it for anything because it's, half a penny is not a viable way to use as currency to pay for anything. But Bitcoins are divisible. Each one, remember, each one is unique. So it's digital currency. So each one of these is divisible by 100 million. So that's why this is extremely, extremely valuable. Now, year one, when Bitcoins were first released, the blockchain was rewarding every 10 minutes a total of 50 Bitcoins. Year 2 through year 4, still 50. But then the first halving period happened. And now, currently, the blockchain releases 25 Bitcoins every 10 minutes. But look at what's happening now. This is where we're at right now. We're close to July of 2016, and we're going into a halving period, which is going to be at 12.5. So there's going to be less Bitcoins released by the blockchain to miners every 10 minutes. It's going from 25 to 12.5. But what you need to understand is this. The demand for Bitcoin has exponentially increased since the last halving. So right now there's more demand for Bitcoin. It's not hard. If you wanted to sell your Bitcoins today, you could sell them immediately. But it's very hard to acquire them in large quantities, in large amounts. So 12.5, folks, is what's going to happen in July. And so it gives us an opportunity because when there's less production and increased demand, what happens? The value skyrockets. And so in May 22nd of 2010, the first sale of Bitcoin happened which is a Papa John's pizza that was purchased for 10,000 Bitcoin for 25 bucks. The value of those 10,000 Bitcoins was only $25. In today's market, those same Bitcoins would now be worth $4 million, actually more, because when this slide was created, Bitcoin was around 260 bucks. So this is actually more of what those $25 worth of Bitcoin would be worth today. So as we move forward into this halving period, you're going to see the value, fluctuate. And so all of the experts are predicting that Bitcoin is on the rise and that by the end of 2016 should be hovering around $1,000. Now remember, this is a currency, so you need to understand that this is an opportunity like any other opportunity and come in this with eyes wide open. All I'm doing is giving you the supporting documentation on why we feel, and we agree with all of the experts and all of the richest people in the world, that because of the scarcity of the coin and because of the exponential growth and demand for the coin and the transactions that are happening each and every day with Bitcoin, that it only has one direction for it to go up. Now, everybody that understands currency fluctuations knows that it doesn't shoot up in a straight line. It's going to go up, it's going to go down, it's going to dip, it's going to go up. That's how currency works. And so, but look at this. The difficulty, okay, of each one of these, and now we're talking about the mining difficulty, because when we started mining coins, you could have done it with a desktop or a laptop. But now you need supercomputers to solve complex mathematical problems, and this is the difficulty right here. It's huge, right? Huge, huge difficulty. So you need the latest and greatest. Now this next chart that you're looking at right here is showing you where Bitcoin has been in terms of daily transactions, how many actually were reported, and what those transactions look like today. And as you can see, this has not gone up in a straight line, but it has gone steadily up and up and up. Now this is very, very important because I'm going to actually go offline, I'm going to go online and show you where BitClub Network is right now. If you could see it right here. Let me put a little arrow. Oh, there it is. Okay, perfect. This is the blockchain info. This is not a BitClub Network website. This is the blockchain. This is what gives you the stats and figures and tracks all of the transactions that are happening through the blockchain. So these companies that are on here, which is about 19 to 20 companies that control they're the top companies that are involved in mining, and this gives you what percentage they are actually doing on the world scale. So each day, these are the companies that get rewarded the Bitcoins, freshly minted Bitcoins. In BitClub Network, when this slide was created, was at 1%. So it had hovered between 1, 2, 3%. This week, folks, it's been up to 9%. I believe it was like on Sunday or Monday, it was around 9%. Today it's hovering around 5%. I checked it right before we started the presentation, but let me pause this real quick, and I want to show you that because I think that's important for us to look at. Excuse me. But let's take a look at, let's see here. Hopefully you can see my screen. Let's go to blockchain.info. And as you can see, these are all the transactions that are happening right now with Bitcoin and mining operations. And then over here, we can go to other Bitcoin links. We're going to go in here to look at the mining pool statistics. So this is a pie chart showing the market share of the top Bitcoin mining pools. And this is where BitClub is right now, hovering around 4% of what the total production is of Bitcoin. This is the world landscape. This isn't me talking about this. This is the top companies that are mining Bitcoin. So this is one of the things that really, really hit home when we're looking at this opportunity very closely, because we wanted to make sure that what we had was real. But even when we saw this, we actually verified with a cryptographer and another mining pool to make sure that this was actually happening. So we've done our due diligence. Now, Is there risk involved? Absolutely. But there's a difference between calculated risk and something that's risky. And so when we are looking at mining opportunities, and that BitClub network is the only place that really allows you to mine freshly minted Bitcoins, and it's documented, and allows you to participate with as little as what we have here, is just you couldn't be able to find that anywhere else unless you're putting in $500,000 to $1 million to get started. So this is powerful, folks. So let's go back to the presentation here and have a few more slides to show you, and then we could open it up to some questions. Okay, so mining shares, here's how they work. Two problems. The math gets more difficult, right, to be able to solve these problems, to give the value to the coin itself. And the equipment gets old and obsolete. So as the math gets harder, the equipment becomes obsolete. So what BitClub Network has done is that it has these contracts that are 600 days. And then you have every day, there's portion of what it mines that goes back into repurchasing. Now that repurchase automatically starts at a 600-day contract to keep mining more for you. So it's a one-time out-of-pocket, when we're going to get to that in just a second, but think about this. You'll be able to come in and for a one-time out-of-pocket purchase a number of contracts. And those contracts are going to be able to pay you every single day. But the repurchase is set up so that as it's mining for you, each time it repurchases, which that happens on a daily basis, those new repurchases have new $600-day contracts attached to them. So that allows you to perpetually get paid over and over and over again. So once the first contracts of 600 fall off, by then you have another 3 contracts going for you. So this is how they solve the problem of the equipment getting old and the math getting more difficult, because every single day everybody participates in repurchasing and putting that towards new equipment so that you can make more money. Now this is what the operations look like. This is a highly efficient mining configuration. The mining pool that they currently use right now is housed out of Iceland, which is, I think, the second biggest data center ever. But this is a slide that really brings everything home, and I think that when you look at this, it really is going to make a whole lot of sense. Now let's take the number 3,600, and let's take that as a 3-year investment in stocks Forex. Okay, can you make money with stocks and Forex? Absolutely. You can make money every day, or you can lose money every day. And I know that because the software that I sell is in commodities. I don't do Forex or stocks, but it's the same concept. It's putting your money to work for you, and sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. It's just a part of trading. Now, Bitcoin long, what that means is purchasing Bitcoin and just hanging on to it. Bitcoin and working with BitClub, that means buying mining contracts, and I'm going to explain the difference in just a second. Now remember, the maximum of the Bitcoins that are ever going to be mined is 21 million. So it's a rule of supply and demand. So over the next 3 years, the experts like Tim Draper, which is known as the Nostradamus of the financial world, I mean, all his predictions come true. He's predicting that each Bitcoin is going to go to a $10,000 value over the next 3 years. Now that was said a year ago, so that's in about 2 years. Now all the experts say that after this halving period of Bitcoin, that it should go up to $1,000. So let's take a look at this. Let's say you took $3,600 and you put it into stocks and Forex, and let's say it went well. So now you doubled it or tripled it. You would be feeling really good, right? Or you could lose all of it. I've seen it happen. I've seen people lose I've seen people lose $10,000 and just because they didn't know what they were doing. So very risky. Now let's say you bought at the current price. If you divide $400 into 3,600, it's about 9 Bitcoins that you could buy at today's prices. Now let's say Bitcoin, please pay very close attention to what I'm about to say. Let's say that in the next 3 years, Bitcoin goes up to $10,000. Each one of your Bitcoins would be worth $10,000. So if you have 9 times 10, that's 90,000. So you could purchase today. You don't need BitClub for this. You could go out and buy 9 Bitcoins okay? And just hold on to them and take a long position on Bitcoin, okay? Nothing wrong with that. But what if you take that same $3,600 and instead of buying 9 Bitcoins, you buy the contract, the mechanism, the strategy that produces Bitcoin every single day so that you can be making little bits of Bitcoin every single day. And over time, instead of having 9 coins only, because you're mining the Bitcoin, you have 30, 50, or 70 Bitcoins in the same time period. So now let's take the lowest number. Let's take 30. Okay, and let's just play around a bit. Get your calculator out, get your pencil and paper, whatever you want to do, and let's just kind of go through this and figure this out. All right, so let's take that number, $3,600, and now if I buy the mining contracts, and over the same period of time, 3 years, I've earned 30 Bitcoins. Let's say the price goes to 10,000. What would 10,000 times 30 be? That's 300,000. So you've done extremely well. So at 90,000, you'd be really happy, but with 30 coins, you'd be ecstatic, okay? Now let's say the price never goes up that high. Let's say that in 3 years, it only goes up to $1,000. Well, if that happened, then multiply 9, right? Because let's say you bought 9 coins, you make 9,000. So you're still happy. But if it only went to 1,000 and you had 30 coins, you're looking at $30,000, which is even better. And let's say over the next 3 years, you just bought 9 coins and hanged on to them. And the value never went up and never went down. Let's say it stayed at $400 over the next 3 years. Well, would you rather have the 9 or would you rather have the 30? If the value stayed the same, then you didn't make any money, you didn't lose any money, you're okay. But if you mined the Bitcoin and you had 30 Bitcoins over the next 3 years and the value stayed the same, now multiply 400 times 3. That's 12,000. So even if the value didn't increase, you're still ahead of the game because you were mining Bitcoin. Now let's say worst case scenario, the value goes down. Let's say it goes to $200. Let's say it just goes and just crashes to $200. Now remember, every expert out there says Bitcoin will never be under $200 again, right? But let's say they're wrong. Let's say it goes to 200. If you have 9 Bitcoin, that's 3,600 at today's prices, you'd be with $1,800. But with 30 coins, 30 times 2, that's 6, so that's 6,000, right? You'd still be ahead of the game, even if the value of Bitcoin went down to half. If it went down to 100, folks, if it really crashed, you'd take a loss. But if you had 30 Bitcoin, you'd lose maybe $600 out of your initial investment. You see the power of mining? And that's why all the big people, like for example, one of the things that I didn't show you on this chart, let me back up just a little bit of the presentation here. Let me back up to this slide over here because I forgot to mention this to you. See this company here, Bitfury? Bitfury is heavily invested. The major capitalist, I think he put in like $30 million, is Sir Richard Branson, owner of Virgin Airlines and everything Virgin. So $30 million into Bitfury. What they are doing that's impacting the mining operations, that they've developed these high power cryogenic cooling type of supercomputers to be ready for this new halving period where it's going to be less production and the Bitcoin difficulty of the math problems are going higher. So BitClub Network has actually done a purchase of these equipment from Bitfury, and that's why you're seeing the production of BitClub Network go higher. And that's why we've been seeing up as high as 9% of the total mining operation this week. And so as we move forward here, we're only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So right now is the time, folks, to get involved in the mining operations because Bitcoin really has only one way to go up. Now, I just showed you, though, I like to prepare for the best but plan for the worst. So I've already done the math on this, and if you look at this from that standpoint, let's say it went halfway down, you're still in a profit scenario if you're mining Bitcoin. If you're just buying and holding, then you're going to take a hit. But if it goes the other way and it goes up, I just gave you the numbers on 1,000 or even 5,000 or even 10,000, then this is a home run. Now, Coinbase, folks, is a website that you can actually get started with mining Bitcoin. You could tie this into your bank account and take out, buy and purchase your Bitcoins through here, hold them there, move them around, and anywhere that accepts Bitcoin, you can use it to pay, or you could accept payment, put it into your bank account as well. This is one of the ones that are very, very popular in the Philippines. It's another wallet. It has 450 participating ATMs nationwide. So for people that with no bank accounts, no problem. You could definitely start a wallet here. BitPesa, very popular in Africa. Spain has over 10,000 ATMs already. Bit2Me is another wallet. These are the major banks out there in Europe that actually take that you could tie your wallet a Bit2Me to those bank accounts. So Spain is an early adopter of the coin of Bitcoin. And then valuing Bitcoin and gambling. So these stats and figures, folks, are just to put in your mind where this is going. And a lot of this is already happening in the background. So the gambling industry, folks, I'm not endorsing it in any way, shape, or form. All I'm saying is that this is one place where Bitcoin could actually work, because there's a lot of chargebacks, a lot of fraud going on in the gambling industry. So if they just took payment, if every single transaction happened in Bitcoin, there's none of that. There's no way to have chargebacks or anything like that. Oh, that wasn't me. Somebody used my card, and those types of things. So 4.8 billion is just the online poker, but the total market for gambling is about $30 billion a year. So if just the gambling industry took Bitcoin, then that would make each Bitcoin $4,300 in value, if that market cap was at 30 billion right now. Amazon currently takes Bitcoin. Now, this number's a little outdated. This is closer to about $100 billion a year now. And they're doing about 3% in transaction fees. So what we're looking at here is, again, based off of this number here, is about 38 billion. If that was a market cap for Bitcoin within Amazon, then each Bitcoin would be worth $5,400. Gas stations, I mean, that's a $234 billion industry. The value of Bitcoin would go to $34,000. But this is something that here we know very well in California. California is like a melting pot within a melting pot. And so we have people from all over the world here in California, foreign workers that send money to other countries. And, Western Union, they've made out like bandits. They've made so much money. They charge between 4% to 20%. Even more depending on the countries. If we just took that piece of the industry with a market cap of, Jesus, how much is this, $300 billion, then each Bitcoin would be worth $42,000. So this is where the future of Bitcoin is going. You're going to start seeing ATMs, or what we call BTMs, where you can put cash in and get Bitcoins out. You can scan this with your phone. Bitcoin is used with QR codes as well to accept payment or to send payment. So you could actually walk up to one of these Bitcoins with your phone, scan the camera on the BTM, and get cash, or vice versa. So these are very, very important. You're going to start seeing these all over the place. This one's in Portugal. So wherever we have leadership, that's where these are going in right now. There's a lot of documentation out there, lots of documentaries, lots of movies that explain where Bitcoin has been, where it currently is, and where it's going. And so this isn't us, folks. Go do some research on your own. If this is your first exposure to Bitcoin, hopefully you're not going to be telling my story 18 months from now, because right now I'm kicking myself for not getting involved in Bitcoin 18 months ago, because I basically, if I look at what Joe is doing, which is the person that talked to me about this 18 months ago, he's making $100,000 a month right now, just about a brand new Rolls Royce, couple of Mercedes, brand new house. And I remember, 18 months ago, he was driving a Toyota Corolla. So, I mean, this is just, it's phenomenal what this has been doing and how it's been impacting lives. So a couple of ways to get started, folks. Actually, one way to get started, this is mandatory here. There's a one-time out-of-pocket of $99 for you to become a member. Okay, you could start a Bitcoin account at blockchain.info or Coinbase, and are very easy to buy coins. You could do it with your ATM, and you could pay us. We only accept Bitcoin, so you have to, get a Bitcoin and then transfer it over to us, and we only accept Bitcoin, and we pay you in Bitcoin every single day. So let's take a look now at the mining pools. We have pool 1, pool 2, pool 3, and then we have the founder pool. Pool 1 is $500, pool 2 is $1,000, pool 3 is $2,000, and the founder pool is $3,500. Now, the mining of these are $600 contracts. Now remember, these are one-time out-of-pocket. Now, every day when it's mining for you, it's producing new Bitcoins with new mining contracts. So it perpetually is paying you every single day. Now, what it does, it takes 50% and puts it into commissions for you that you could withdraw every single day with no limit. But the other 50%, remember, is to repurchase so that it keeps you in the game. So it keeps you, and you don't have to do anything. It's already set up automatically to do it. The 1,000 is 60-40 split, and then the pool 3 is 70-30, and then the founder package gives you a share in all three of these pools. Now this is really the one that everybody should be in the $3,500 pool. The rest of these are ways for you to get started, but are not the best way for you to get started. This is basically down payments. So as you earn commissions, as you earn mining commissions, or if you refer other people, then what you're really doing is upgrading, and the system just kind of does that automatically for you until you're at the 3,500 level, which is the best way to go. So very, very important. Now, folks, what I want to do right now, before we move forward, is I want to ask, I want to check and see if there's any questions so far before we move into the last 10, 15 minutes of information that we're going to share here with you. Are there any questions so far? Okay, looks like we don't have any questions. So what I'd like to do is introduce to you my business partner, Mr. Bishop Stewart, which I believe is here with us this morning. And Bishop, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Now, Bishop was fortunate, he was fortunate enough to see this the very, very first week that Big Club Network came out, just like I did. And so he has his own story there. But, Bishop Stewart's an entrepreneur. Not only is my business partner, but he's a very, very good friend. And so when we looked at this together, we realized that it was real. And I'm not going to speak for him. I'd really like for him to kind of share with him his thoughts on Bitcoin and what he sees in this opportunity and why he jumped on board. But I also would like him to share with you the other way to make. There's another way to make money with Big Club Network, which is being able to share this with friends and family. So, Bishop, if you could take it away, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for that introduction, Danny. And, as I was watching the presentation, I was just getting more excited and wanting to sign up again. And like, like Danny said, I was there in the very beginning because we both know Joe very well. And I was one of the people he contacted first as well, as soon as BitCub Network got launched 18 months ago. And I didn't take the time to really give it a fair look, and I wanted to make sure the model proved itself, etc. But in hindsight, just like Danny said, I'm absolutely kicking myself because I could have got started 18 months ago. But we are here now. So as soon as I saw what has happened and has come about and manifested over the past 18 months, I'm so excited because I like to be a part of things that are not necessarily futuristic, but as a business person, entrepreneur, you have to pay attention to the trends. You have to pay attention to the new economy that is out there, because right now people are talking about, oh, the economy is gone. The economy's, it's depleting and there's lack in the world now. That's actually not the truth. Right now, there's a transition of wealth that is happening. And people are either becoming extremely wealthy or people are going to be in a situation where they're extremely struggling because the middle class is disappearing. But here's what's exciting, Danny, is that the economy isn't disappearing. It's actually being replaced by a new, more robust economy, which is incorporating technology, incorporating the internet, and all of these different things. And cryptocurrency plays a massive, massive role in this. And so I'm a student of success. And when I see that people like Sir Richard Branson and all these other people are getting involved heavily in Bitcoin, it made sense. And here's what's exciting. I do a lot of transaction internationally as well. I have a lot of employees internationally. And I don't know if I told you, Danny, but 2 days ago, I just launched a new business in the Philippines. And I actually have an office now in the Philippines. I have a lot of employees in the Philippines, but now I actually have an office there with a new company. We just launched officially 2 days ago. We just signed the contract on the office space, etc. But that's going to be one of the ways that I pay my employees now is through Bitcoin because they have the machines there. And looking back, we did a check on how much money we spent sending and paying employees in the Philippines through PayPal. And that 3% adds up to quite a bit of money. So now we're going to be able to save literally thousands and thousands of dollars a year, tens of thousands even, just by using the Bitcoin method. And so I'm very, very excited. And that's kind of one of the things that excited me is not having those transaction fees. And now the employees don't have to wait 3 or 4 days for PayPal to pay them. They can just go to the machine and instantly get it. And so we're very, very excited about that.
Now, Bishop, I've given you controls of keyboard and mouse, so you could, I think you could take over.
I'm able to change the slide?
I believe so.
Okay. Let me see here.
There you go.
Okay, perfect. Okay, let me go back. And so, one of the other exciting things, like Danny mentioned, is the ability to share this with our friends and family and get rewarded handsomely for it. And as Danny knows, I have a saying in business that I teach people is when you get involved in something, you have to make sure the reward is worth the effort. And here, it absolutely is because even if Bitcoin went down, which no one predicts it's going to, people are still in a profit because we're actually mining. And so, let's go ahead and go through our rewards plan here. And with Bitcoin in BitClub Network, we have the first way we get paid is our binary team cycle bonus. And so this is very exciting. So those of you that don't know what a dual team or binary is, it means you're going to build and manage two sales teams, a left sales team and a right sales team. And you're going to be able to benefit from everyone in your entire organization. So here, when you sign someone up for the $99 worth of Bitcoin, you receive a position in the binary structure. So that's when you actually become a part of the binary. And to activate your binary, you have to have one person left, one person right that are active. And now you're able to participate in the binary. And here's what happens. So every 15 credits left and 15 credits right that come into your organization, it's considered a cycle. And you're able to actually get paid $200 worth of Bitcoin. Now, the amount and the cap that comes from this binary is equivalent to your rank. So let's just look at this here. So if you're a miner, you're able to cycle 4 times a day, which is $800 a day you're able to make at the miner rank, all the way down to the monster builder rank when you're able to cycle 10 times per day and generate $2,000 a day just in our binary. And there are people in the organization that are already doing this and maxing this out. And so here's what's exciting. Remember, it's not about just you bringing on and referring people. This is every time people in your organization refer people that you don't even know from all over the world. When you get 15 credits left and 15 credits right, bam, that's a cycle. That's $200 in your pocket, and you don't even know these people. This is what we call leverage. And John Paul Getty, who was the first billionaire in America, said, I would rather make 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own. And that's why he became a billionaire, because he understood the power of leverage. And so this is very, very exciting. And we had all kinds of people joining this week. Danny had a meeting the other day that I couldn't make, and we had people join. And I don't know those individuals, but I benefit. Right. And I brought on people that Danny doesn't know, but he benefits because we all benefit as the team grows. You know, it takes teamwork to make the dream work. And so for every $2,000 of full shares sold, you'll receive 12 credits. Okay. So again, that's how you get 12 credits. But every time you have 2,000, you have 15 credits left, 15 credits right, it creates that cycle. Oh, I was waiting for you to go to the next slide, Danny. I forgot I have control here. So let me go back there and See if I can still change this. Okay, perfect. Now, the other way we get paid is our binary matching bonuses. Now, I love matching bonuses as well because it's kind of like you don't go to work, but you still get paid on what everyone else is doing, right? And so here's what happens. For every 200 cycle paid, there's another $80 paid to the upline through a maximum of 8 levels. And you don't need to qualify for the first level because all members automatically begin at the minor rank. So everyone who comes in automatically starts at the minor rank. Okay, but every time those cycles happen, you're going to be able to get paid on matching bonuses. So to earn on level 2 matching, you must qualify at the rank of builder. To earn on level 3, you have to actually go up in rank to pro builder, so on and so forth. But here's how it works. So let's just say in level 1 here, you had some cycles happening in your organization, and you're going to be able to get a matching on that with the people that you sponsored into the organization of $10. Level 2, $10 matching. Level 3, $10 matching, all the way up to a total match of $80. And this can happen multiple times throughout your organization. So let's look here at the builder just for an example here. So with the builder, the total volume, $10,000 lifetime. You sponsor 5 miners that each have sponsored 2 miners and have 10,000 in total enrollment tree volume. Okay, so this is how you're moving up in your ranks. To become a pro builder, it's $50,000, $10,000 monthly. You need at least a total of 3 builders under your enrollment tree, with each coming from a separate leg, and you need a total of 50,000 in total enrollment tree volume. So as you move up in rank, of course, you're unlocking more aspects of the compensation plan, and you're earning more and more income. But remember, most people that we have found are coming in at the founder position, the $3,500 position. So it's going to be a lot easier for you to start moving up in rank as people come in on those positions and add that volume to your organization. And you're going to be able to start moving up in rank and actually unlocking more of the matching bonuses as well. And so right here, this is our level up Team Infinity bonus. Now, I love level ups. Okay, me personally, I've worked with level ups in other organizations, and once you really get them going, they can actually put a lot of extra income into your pocket. So for the first 2 people, number 1 and 2, people that you enroll, will be placed on team number 1. Okay, so let's say I enroll Danny and I enroll Will. They're on my team 1, right? And so here's what happens that's exciting with this. I'm going to earn 10% on whatever these 2 team members purchase, right? So if Danny purchases the 3,500, I earn 10% of that. Will purchases the founder position of 3,500, I get 10% of that. So that's $350 each that I would get on those positions. This commission is paid on full shares as well as partial shares purchased from the mining pool. So remember, we have full shares, we have partial shares that are happening on the mining pool, and the the repurchases are happening as well. So everyone who enrolls below these 2 people will level up to the qualified upline members, but will land in your binary left and right team. So all of these people that they're bringing on are going to be falling into your organization, into your dual team binary. And then on level up Team Infinity bonuses on your 3rd, 4th, and 5th person that you enroll, they're going to be placed on your team number 2. And on these individuals, you're going to earn 6% on whatever they purchase in their when they buy in. If they got the founder position or any of the other positions, you're going to get 6%. And you're also going to earn 1% level up bonus on all of their first 2 personals that they bring into the organization, and so on through infinity, you guys. Through infinity. Now, 1% might sound like a little bit to you, right? You might be thinking, well, that's not a lot of money. But remember, as your team is growing, that 1% can start adding up to quite a bit of money. So you're talking about $35 there that you're earning if someone gets the founder position, all the way through to infinity, right? As people are purchasing these packages. So it's really a generous compensation plan when you understand the numbers. And so it just kind of shows you here on 3, 4, and 5, you get 6%, but on the 2 people that they bring in, you get 1% of their purchases all the way down to infinity. So just think about that. That money coming in, $35, $35, $35 through infinity. So you're making and earning income even while you're sleeping. So then we have your 6th, 7th, and 8th person that you personally sponsor to the organization. And on these, you're going to get earn 15% on whatever these 3 members purchase. Okay. So it starts adding up very, very handsomely. So it's kind of a simple formula here, but when you start adding in these numbers, it's great because you can also earn 2% level up bonus on their first two. So let's just say I have Dana, Domi, and Kevin for 6, 7, and 8. I'm going to earn that 15% on what they purchase, but everyone that they bring in, their two level ups, I'm going to earn 2%, but everyone from that point on is an extra 1%, right? So these numbers start adding up very, very quickly, so on and so forth. But then what happens here is we get generational bonuses as well. And these are on full shares. So when someone on your team four begins their own team four, you'll be blocked in the regular level up structure. So in order to continue paying you on all the volume, we have put another 2% into a three generational bonus that works like this. So basically, with generation number one, you're going to get 1%. Okay, on team four of team four, you're going to get 1% commission on every purchase and repurchase made on all of these members. Because remember, automatically the system has it where you're automatically repurchasing, right? And all of these people are repurchasing, and you're getting 1% every time they do automatically through the system to infinity, you guys. Generation two, you're going to get 0.5% on team four all the way through to infinity on every purchase. And then generation three, you're going to get that 5% as well by enrolling their ninth person and beyond. You're going to get those commissions as well, that 0.5%. Okay, so some of this is confusing, but believe me, when you start looking in your back office and seeing that your commissions are growing rapidly, you're going to be very, very excited. Now, this is pretty much the same as what we just explained right now, but this is on the repurchases of partial shares. Okay, so it's the same formula, but this is on partial shares here. And so one of the things that I really like is that we did decide to use network marketing as our vehicle to get this out to the world. And the reason for that is because if you look at some of the other industries out there, the music industry, I was heavily involved in the music industry. I've worked with a lot of the big names out there. It's actually the first thing I did. I had a production company. But when you look at the music industry, it's only a $16.5 billion industry, right? It's a massive industry, but still a small industry in itself. And then the organic products industry, 91 billion. The movie industry, I could have been a movie star. I should have stayed with that. I've done a lot of films, but look at the movie industry, and I know Will has as well. It's an $80 billion industry. Video gaming is $67 billion. And the gaming industry is going to keep growing, but it's amazing how cryptocurrency is going to come to play with video gaming here shortly. But the network marketing industry, you guys, no matter what you think about it, documentation beats conversation, right? It's created almost more millionaires than any other industry in the entire world. And it's a $167 $1 billion industry. Why does it work? Because word of mouth marketing is more powerful than any other form of marketing. So if I saw a billboard right now about BitClub, it might catch my attention. If I'm driving down the freeway, I might take a note of it, but probably not. But if someone like Danny or Will or someone calls me that I personally have a relationship with and they say, Bishop, you need to check this out, this is pretty amazing, I'm more than likely going to participate in that, or at least give it a fair glance, right? And so that's why it's powerful. Now, the network marketing industry is becoming even more powerful for businesses because of the power of technology and the internet and social media. We're able to spread the word now all around the world instantly by doing a post. And so more and more Fortune 500 companies are using this model because we're able to grow that much quicker and in turn not only grow the company, but also create multiple millionaires within BitClub Network by using this model. Okay, so it's not about just the company making money, but now we're also able to share and have other people, members, become millionaires as well. Henry Ford said, "It is well that the people of the nation do not understand our banking and monetary system, for if they did, I believe there would be a revolution before tomorrow morning." And that's interesting because a lot of people really don't know what's happening, right? To me, it's amazing that, I can put money in the bank and they don't, fill out an application for me. They don't tell me what they're going to do with my money. They go and use our money and make tons of money with it, right? They're buying currencies, they're doing all this kind of stuff, they're investing, they're in hedge funds, they're doing all of this stuff and making billions and billions of dollars with our money. But then when it comes to us wanting our money out, right? Or we need to do certain things with our money. They make us jump through all these hoops, even though it's our money and we don't make them jump through hoops. It's actually a weird relationship if you really understand the banking industry. And that's why Henry Ford said if people really understood it, you'd be upset because you're making literally like a 0.1% on your money a year, but they're making billions on that same money every single year and giving you nothing but the crumbs. And so here with Bit Club Network, oh, was that the last slide? With Bit Club Network, we're giving the power back to the people. It's time that we took our power back because, again, it's our money that these banks are using, right? It's our money that these governments are using. It's our money. When you put in money and you do a transfer at the bank, why does it take 3 or 4 days for it to show up on the other end? And why do they charge you all of this? Because they're not actually taking your $1,000 and going and delivering it to the person. They're just typing in numbers into a computer system, right? They do this so they can collect all of these fees and make you jump through hoops. With Bitcoin, the power's back in the hands of the people. So I hope you guys join us. Now, I have a friend of mine. People always say I want to be the right person in the right place, right? I want to be at the right place at the right time. I always say you need to take it a step further and pray that you're the right person in the right place at the right time. And here's why I say this. I have a friend of mine who's a trainer, and he had 2 clients of his that asked him, he said, can you invest in our business $1,500? This is all they asked for was $1,500. And so my friend said, okay, you know what? Let me go see what you guys have to offer. He went to their location and he walked in and he saw some computers and a bunch of wires. That's what he kept telling me. He's like, Bishop, there was just a bunch of wires around. And so he turned them down. He's like, you know what? I don't think this is for me. I don't think this is going to take off. And he said, I'm going to pass on this opportunity. Well, those 2 individuals turned out to be the founders of Google. Let me repeat that. The founders of Google. So my friend would be a multi-billionaire today if he would have given them $1,500. Now, let's look at Mark Zuckerberg with Facebook. Same thing happened there if you know the story. He went around and asked his friends for $1,500. Some of his friends did it and some of them didn't. One of his friends that gave him $1,500 is now, right now, you can look it up, is the 2nd youngest billionaire in the world. And he didn't build Facebook. He just gave his friend $1,500. So you see, both of these people were in the right place at the right time, but only one of them was the right person because he recognized the massive opportunity staring them in the face. So right now, all of us looking at this webinar today are looking at a massive opportunity staring us in the face, a revolution. Right? This is a category creator, a paradigm shift, if you will, approach to investing. And the choice is, are you going to be the right person in the right place at the right time? Only you can make that decision. And I hope you make the right decision. You join us here because we are very serious about this. Danny and I are taking this to the moon. And we look forward to working with each and every single one of you, myself, Danny, JC, Will, all the leaders on our team. And we plan to really, really put this on the map here in the US and abroad. And so with that said, we look forward to working with you. Now, we have another event coming up. Danny, if you want to go with them through with them, the schedule of events coming up, including that live event we have in Ontario coming up.
Yes, absolutely. But you know what? Before I do that, I'd like to bring one of our business partners here, Mr. Will Walker, who I believe is on the line here with us. And I just want to open up his mic and just kind of give him a quick intro. Massive successful businessman in the financial sector. And also within network marketing has done some incredible things. I think his last company build was like 65,000 people, which is amazing number of success in the industry. So, Mr. Will Walker, are you there?
Danny, I'm right here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can.
Wonderful. Well, I want to thank, on behalf of the audience and myself, I want to thank you and Bishop. You know, both of you guys, Gwen, my wife, and I just pinch ourselves every time we listen to both of you. You just have such incredible delivery, but it's also information and action-packed. It's backed by facts. You know, I've done 1,000 of these things, and so has Gwen too, and it's amazing what attention to detail and what incredible delivery and talent that you both have, and certainly Gwen and I are really excited about Bit Club Network and being part of your, being part of your organization. So, both of you. But you know, my background.
I was about to tell you, well, I'm going to send you a check, but I only deal in Bitcoin now, so I might send you some Bitcoin.
You guys, I know you both know the caliber of people you are, and Gwen and I have been fortunate to get to know you both and realize what, you know, substantial business people you are, businessmen you are, as well as great team leaders and team people. So everybody on this line should realize that you're getting in with top of the heap people and a great team, and certainly the timing of Bitcoin and BitClub, you know, which I've followed for a couple of years myself. My background has been in investments, insurance, and venture capital. I've also come from the entertainment world for a number of years as well. But I watch for trends. I watch for, you know, as an investor, as an accredited investor, most of my life, and dealing with, you know, top line mutual funds, hedge funds, investors, that type of thing. I've got to have timing, and timing on Bitcoin, now that it's swept, I've watched it sweep through Asia, where now it's widely accepted at many of the leading banks, and, you know, in Korea and Hong Kong and Macau, and now it's getting into China in a big way. You know, most of the major banks now accept Bitcoin, and you know, and you can transact pay all your bills and pay your credit card bills and do different things there on a regular basis. I've watched it also go into Europe, with all the major airports in Rome and Paris and London now have BTMs instead of ATMs, you know, where you can exchange your Bitcoin getting on and off the plane. And I've had many, you know, I travel over there extensively, or have, and you know, it's been amazing to see 8 or 10 of these things starts with one, and now all of a sudden there's 8 or 10 of these machines when you get them off all the major airports to exchange for cash or credit or more Bitcoins or currency, whatever you're trying to transact. So right now it's been exciting for me to be able to use Bitcoin, to be able to go down and print up through Gift and print up our own shopping experience from our account that's growing every day from BitClub Network. It's been exciting to be able to go use it at Whole Foods and Starbucks and Best Buy, especially Whole Foods. We shop there a lot. We're big in, you know, non-GMO and great food and high quality food and that type of thing. So it's been very exciting to be able to take some of our proceeds that we're actually making and shop at some of the leading places where we're already shopping and participating. And I know there's about 95,000 more now that there's 100,000 places that accept Bitcoin in this country. So I've no doubt this is going to follow. Some of my bigger deals have been in early days of cable television and cellular telephones, different types of media deals and communication deals where I made substantial money. I have no doubt that this transaction, you know, process transaction money is going to be the wave of this country, just like it already has overtaken in Europe and been a very popular way for the leading banks and travel industry and other industries in Europe and Asia. So excited. I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. I really encourage everybody to come in with their eyes wide open, but for gosh sakes, you know, definitely at least put a toe in if you know, whatever you can afford, and take a look at this to get a position. And I think you're going to be in very good hands. So well, with that, I'm going to go ahead, Danny.
No, what you just said is so key, because you just mentioned an industry that I had forgotten to even mention, and that industry, of course, was telecom. And when you realize what Bitcoin represents to the financial world, is the exact same thing that the internet was to information, what the internet was for telecommunications. And telecommunications was deeply impacted by the internet. It completely changed. We went from analog lines, we went to digital phone lines. Your cell phone now is all digital, and it's just running off of the internet now with, you know, 4G and WiMAX and LTE and all of these different things. Could not happen, would not happen if it wasn't for our fiber optics and internet being everywhere. So that really impacted the telecommunication. In fact, this webinar would not be possible if it wasn't for the internet. And so all of those massive changes that have happened in how we communicate in telecom. Right now we're doing audio and video on a webinar platform that couldn't happen without that technology, all those technological advances. But the way we exchange information is just as important. And now the way we move money, the way we spend money, the way we purchase things is going to happen because of Bitcoin in a big, big way. So
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
definitely the time. So you hit it right on the head, Will.
Well, one more thing, I've watched Sir Richard Branson and Bill Gates and lots of people that have tremendous charitable foundations and different types of fundraisers for different major charities around the world. They're really doing a lot with Bitcoin. In fact, Sir Richard Branson on his Necker Island, his private island, he has a fundraiser every month, and I encourage everybody to Google some of his activities and some of the things he's doing with Bitcoin on a monthly basis, flying in people all over the world to give and raise awareness for some great causes and charities, and he only accepts, or pretty much only accepts, Bitcoin, and he gives them quite an education there. And of course, people coming from Asia or Europe or even this country, if they're of any accredited size or in the know, they're only too happy to give through Bitcoin to these different charitable organizations, because certainly they don't want to pay fees on top of that, which are not tax deductible. So if they're going to give, and they're going to give large amounts to the American, to some of these bigger charities or bigger organizations, they definitely want to utilize the the cleanliness and the speed and the profitability of Bitcoin to do that. So I've really been amazed at the different types of companies and different types of different forms, whether it be communications, charities, retailers, the gasoline industry, the travel industry, all over the world right now, including many of the leading travel companies are accepting Bitcoin and certainly doing promotions with Bitcoin around the world. So anyway, it's been exciting. I'm going to send it back to you there, Danny. Good point.
Hey, Danny,
Yes, sir.
can you give me the screen real quick? I want to share something real quick.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Can I go over just this one little slide that I put up here? Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And I'll turn it over to you in just a second. I just want to make sure that everybody understands that we're going to be doing a free educational seminar. This is going to happen March 9th. That's next Wednesday at 7 o'clock to 10 p.m. And the approach that we're taking, folks, is going to be of really educating the market. We're going to teach people what these wallets are all about. We're going to teach people how they can purchase their Bitcoin for the very first time. We're going to teach them value. We're going to show them how they can move money around in this live event. And that's going to be so awesome, because I think that the very first step is people need to understand that this has massive, massive appeal and massive value, and it's so easy to use. But we don't know that. Things could be, a little bit like it was for me when I first started to look, and I guess from what Bishop was saying, I wasn't the right person. I was at the right place at the right time, but I was not the right person. So thank you, Bishop, for that reminder. And so we do not want you to be telling that story in 18 months. We want you to have a new story. Man, I saw this for the first time. I understood it. Did a little bit of research, right? Trust and verify, very important. But I got involved. And this is what happened to me 18 months later. Fast forward with massive, massive exponential growth of Bitcoin, the value going up, and you guys telling some incredible stories in 18 months. So this will happen at my office at 2151 South Haven Avenue, Suite 200 in Ontario, California, 91761. That'll be next Wednesday, folks. So be there, and invite anybody that wants to know a little bit about cryptocurrency. This is a very relaxed kind of mixture that we're going to have, but it's going to be focused on education on Bitcoin. So go ahead, Bishop.
I need the control to share my screen.
Okay, great. Let me give that to you. Go ahead.
Okay, waiting for it. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. Okay, can you see the screen?
Yep.
Okay, do you see the Bitcoin screen? We'll make sure we're on multiple monitors. Okay, so this is a website, you guys, Fiat Leak, and it's showing you live the Bitcoins that are being released from all over the world. And you can see some just got sent out from the US, and you can see China is just nonstop Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. This is real time. This is happening right now uh, around the world as we speak. So you can go to this website, Fiat Leak, and it shows you in real time everything that is happening in Bitcoin. And you can see China are major players. I saw a bunch that were coming out of some were coming out from Brazil earlier, and the U.S. is second, right behind China. And I've been watching this. There's another one from the U.S. And so I've been watching this every day to just see the activity that is happening here in real time. And the thing that I love about what we're doing here with Bitcoin is that all of this can be backed and proven. And we always say documentation beats conversation. So this isn't us just hypothetically putting something together like some companies in the industry do, and we're saying all of these different things and quoting all this stuff. This is actual documented things you can go look up for yourself, just like Will said with Sir Richard Branson and all he's doing, and here with Fiat Leak and all these other things that are happening, you can see in real time. And so those ones that are wrapped in blue right there, you can see right there, buy and sell. Those are buy and sells right there happening. Another one just happened from Czar coming out. So I just wanted to show this, Danny, because it's really fascinating when you read all the information on this page, and you can actually see what's happening with Bitcoin and the Bitcoins that are being released in these different areas from people mining, so on and so forth.
Absolutely. So our goal here is not only for you to get involved in Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining, but to really spread the word. And so we've actually set up a website here for those of you that actually want to get involved and use your credit card to purchase your first Bitcoins. You could definitely do it through our website, where if you wanted to put it on a credit card, that's already with all the fees attached to it and everything, what the totals would come out to. And we could definitely get you started that way. But more importantly, folks, is we want to tell the world, and that's why we're taking that educational approach. And the same, we're doing an in-person educational seminar, but we are going to be adding those types of seminars online so that people can really understand what it's all about. And then, of course, let them know about mining. Because one thing is understanding that Bitcoin has value and where it's going. But remember, there's only two ways to get it. One, you can get it by purchasing it from somebody that already has it, or by mining it. And now mining, if you wanted to set up a mining operation right now, it's in the millions to be able to do it. So BitClub Network is the only place that represents 5% of the whole production on the blockchain of everyday worldwide Bitcoin production, and you can get started with as little as $3,500. So folks, it's kind of like that old story of the goose that laid the golden eggs. And that's how I kind of relate to Bitcoin mining. If you had a choice, you could have the goose or you could have the golden eggs. But you could only choose one. Which one would you choose? Would you choose the eggs or would you choose the golden goose that lays the eggs? Well, I think that 9 out of 10 people will get that one right. They'll pick the goose. And so that's basically what you have here when you're mining Bitcoin and you're getting paid in Bitcoin every day. So I want to thank everybody for being on this webinar here. If there's any questions before we sign off, we have a couple of minutes. We have another presentation right now that Bishop is going to be doing in Tagalog right after this presentation. So, followed by Will doing one in German. But we're going to go right around the world with this, and hopefully that you guys see an opportunity here for you. So, but if there's any questions, comments, concerns, I can open up your mic, or you can put it in the chat if you're a little bit shy. But let's get those questions answered, and if not, if everything's crystal clear, then folks, I have a question for you. Are you ready to move forward? And if you are, get back to that person that invited you to this webinar, and let's get you into the system so you can start mining Bitcoin and start sharing this with the world.
Absolutely. And yeah, you guys, so we're very excited. So make sure you go to this page. I'm just looking at some of these articles, Danny. It's just amazing. Venture capitalists invest 314,700,000 in just 2014 alone to Bitcoin startups. And it's just crazy when you read all these articles here. So yeah, from Forbes and NASDAQ, etc. So just amazing what's happening.
Awesome. Well, it doesn't look like we have a whole bunch of questions, so we're going to go ahead and sign off. I want to thank everybody once again. Thank you, Bishop, for being on the webinar here with us. Always a pleasure. Will, thank you for those brilliant testimonials that you shared with us. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up.
Thanks a lot, you guys. Everyone have a great day.
Thanks, guys.